Hi, it's Robert Mitchell here at the 2009 Festival of Fear, and I'm sitting beside a man who needs no introduction, the legendary producer and director, Roger Corman. Welcome to Festival of Fear 2009.
Thank you, Robert.
Uh, One of the first questions I would like to ask you is, when did you make the decision to become a filmmaker?
I made the decision to become a filmmaker when I was a senior at Stanford. I was writing for the Stanford Daily, and I found out that the film critics on the Daily got free passes to all the theaters in Palo Alto. So I wrote a couple of sample reviews, was taken on as a film critic, and then I started to look at films more carefully and to analyze them, and I realized that that was what I wanted to make. But I graduated in engineering anyway because frankly I just wanted to get the degree and get out. I didn't want to start over.
Who were some of your earlier influences when you began your filmmaking career?
Probably my first influences, and I didn't know that much about the various directors, were as directors probably John Ford, Hitchcock, maybe Howard Hawks. Earlier, as I began to learn more about filmmaking, the Russian director Eisenstein was very important to me. Also, I think the work of David Selznick and Sam Goldwyn as producers was very important because there's some directors, most directors put their stamp on a film. A powerful producer, such as Selznick or Goldwyn, can equally put their stamp on a film.
You've seen the evolution of films now evolving a lot more into digital video. Do you have a preference for film or digital video?
I've always liked film because I'm familiar with it, but I'm very happy to go with digital because it is a more efficient way to shoot. I can shoot faster, I can shoot less expensively, and particularly when you're using special effects, you're working digitally anyway, so you're better off shooting digitally.
I'm sure you've gotten this question for many years, but I guess I'll ask a question. What is any advice you have for a young filmmaker who's starting out making some shorts and trying to make a feature?
I've been asked several times what advice I would give. My first advice would simply be to learn the process of filmmaking. If possible, go to a film school. I did not. Most of the filmmakers of my generation learned on the job. I think it's important and valuable to go to a film school. If you cannot, I think the thing to do is to study films, and again, working digitally, which is inexpensive, to try to make your own films, both the shooting of them and the cutting, the putting together of the film, even if it's just a short subject that's never going to be shown to anybody. It's for your own benefit. You will learn by doing that.
Do you find nowadays it's easier to get financing for a picture, or is it more difficult as the years go on?
I think it's a little bit more difficult to get financing today. When I started, almost any film that was reasonably well made would get a full theatrical release. Today, a theatrical release for an independent, particularly a low-budget film, is very, very difficult to get. As a result, simply from a commercial standpoint, from somebody who's going to finance your film, his chances of making a profit are less today than they were when I started.
I was just curious, what are some of your favorite films over the years?
My favorite films, I would pick two because I think they were very good, and also they hit the independents badly. The first was Jaws. Vincent Canby, the lead film critic for the New York Times, wrote, "What is Jaws but a big-budget Roger Corman film?" He was right, but what he didn't say, it was not only bigger, it was better. I looked at Jaws and I thought, this is the type of film I and my contemporaries have been making. I think it's an excellent film, but this is going to hurt us because we can't make films that big or frankly that good. Shortly afterward, Star Wars came out, which I thought was a wonderful film, and once more I had the same thought. These young filmmakers are making bigger versions of the films they saw when they were young, and this is going to hurt the independents, and indeed it did hurt the independents. On the other hand, they were wonderful films.
Thank you very much for your time, Mr. Corman.